Awe-inspiring to be in New York City or Los Angeles in a big mansion and to be invited out to dinner, and I thought it was really cool. But I got a bird's eye view into how the general public imagines celebrities and the whole culture like some Elysium world, heavenly place. It's actually a prison and the worst vibes overall I've ever felt. That's why so many big celebrities don't live in L.A. or don't live in New York and try to stay away from the celebrity because it is so horribly empty. And the reason I just opened this segment up with that statement is I was thinking about how the only people I get excited about are trailblazers and people that are honorable and good. And how a rock star to me is Dr. Stan Monteith, who spent, I kept saying 48 years. That was like 4 years ago when he gave that speech. So it was 52 years. 2 years battling cancer in excruciating pain to stay on air 5 days a week, 5 hours a day on over 100+ stations nationwide. And just how smart he was, how committed, how loving. I see that in my family. I mean, I grew up having no idea how great my grandfathers and grandmothers were, how great my parents were compared. I mean, it's just... Now, being 40, I've matured a lot more. A lot of 40-year-olds aren't that mature because they don't really become even adults. They're 30 or something. There's arrested development. I grew up pretty quick. I was doing stuff when I was 13 that guys are doing when they're 20. But still, I was immature in many ways. And now as I get older, it's just like, oh, I wish I could let the young people know what I know, to not get in trouble and not be part of the system and to not care what people think about you. And then I realized the general public is that way. Adults really only care about the fake status, the empty status of the fanciest car or the biggest house. Well, if you like a fancy car and a big house, that's great. It's a place to have parties and have your friends over and you have employees as part of the economy. I'm not against the wealth. It's just it can't be the capstone on the pyramid. What is the capstone on the pyramid is being in societies of men and women where you're about not screwing each other over, your word is your bond, you're honorable, people can trust you. And to have been let into those societies, and it took so long, I was never even trying to get into those societies. I don't even mean like a secret society, I mean a society in general. And to now, people know I don't screw people over. People know I'm for real. People know. And then those doors just open, and then you find that there's these societies of people that are honorable and good. People like Dr. Blaylock, people like Dr. Monteith. I don't know why so many times it's doctors, because they've attacked doctors and torn down their image, because a lot of them are corrupt and bad in the society. But it's like my dad's grandfather that was a medical doctor that had the whole black bag and, you know, still rode around in a horse and carriage before he got a car. It was all about being honorable, being good, being upright, being smart, being learned, being strong, having dignity. And they've taken our dignity. Gerald Celente talks a lot about this. I mean, I look at photos and old newsreels of black people in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s. And their eyes are sharp. They're dressed nice. They have dignity. The white people are the same. And now it's just not there. Our souls have been sucked. We have been just robbed of everything that's honorable. And I am dishonorable compared to many of my ancestors. And I'm not a dishonorable person. I'm just saying I am weak and worldly compared to many of my forebears. And I can see the degeneration of my line. But that is what civilization is made of, is realizing, pull yourself up. And within that discipline, the discipline of Ron Paul, who I know works 14 hours a day at 78 years old, and jogs and rides a bicycle and works out and still has a couple beers. I mean, it's just a manly man. And he doesn't have a big tough bearing. And it's the long haul of being the doctor, the Vietnam vet, you know, the husband, the father, raising those kids, doing all that, going to Congress, being laughed at in the 80s, getting kicked out, getting back in 96, having no co-sponsors, and now his bills that he wrote years ago are passing the House. People are picking him up and reintroducing him. It's just the testament of the long haul, the great striving. Can you guys pull up The Arena by Teddy Roosevelt? I want to read that poem on air. It's not even a poem, it's a statement. Because that is the human experience. That's the heroes out there, is a woman whose husband dies in a car wreck, and she raises 3 kids and works hard, and those kids end up having trouble, but getting out of school and getting jobs and getting married and living. Survival is victory. That's a hero. And we have to rediscover what makes us great and strive for it. So I was just thinking how I'm starstruck by Ron Paul. And so I went off on this whole jag about so many people out there think they're not fulfilled because they don't know Brad Pitt. They think they're not fulfilled because they don't know Josh Brolin. They think they're not fulfilled because they don't know Charlie Sheen. They think they're not fulfilled because they don't know Robert Plant. They think they're not fulfilled because they don't know Sean Lennon. They think they're not fulfilled, and it's like a god. It's like and then you talk to the actual people, they know it's all a fraud. They know none of it means anything. But it's that image of Hollywood and the culture of the glamour, that the glamour says take the vaccines. The glamour says families aren't good. The glamour says having kids aren't good. So then only the most unwashed, dumbed-down people have kids, and the whole society falls apart. We've already said family's crud, so why should it be anything but that? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We have to believe in humanity and face down the evils. Doesn't mean we'll ever defeat all of it, but if we let it run all over us, it will win. We have to get involved. And so I was just thinking about how sad I am for people that think lying and cheating and stealing and deceiving is the way to get ahead. Well, yeah, you get away with it for a short moment, but you lose who you are, and then you have no culture, no society. There's no honor amongst thieves. And there's still a lot of honor in Western civilization, but we've learned to be cowed and shut up and just be honorable inside our houses and just quietly take it with desperation. Well, I'm not going to take it. I'm not here to be run over with my family. I'm not here to aid and abet evil by joining with it. And I don't mean the evil that state-run churches tell you about all day, about how you're evil and having a beer is evil, or doing this is evil or doing that's evil. We all know we got problems. I'm talking about people that are premeditatedly evil and want to go out and hurt innocents and want to promote abortion and want to promote tyranny and who want to promote disarming the people and breaking up families and shooting little kids up with deadly vaccines and shooting pregnant women up when they know full well it hurts the fetuses on record. That's evil, and that's what I want to hear about from these dirty pulpits with these devils standing up in them. And after you've dealt with the big dragons, see, they don't deal with the big dragons because the big dragons are scary. By the big dragon of the state, you keep your mouth shut about it. Well, because you kept your mouth shut, the dragon grew 1,000 times and is now burning everything down. And you say, oh, let it burn everything down. Let it stomp on everyone. Hide under some rocks. Maybe the dragon won't get you. Yeah, today or this week or next year, it'll probably just get your kids. No, I will face that dragon. And it's not because I'm a hero, folks. You were made to face it. You were made to stand up against it. That's why you're here. That's the test. Every one of our ancestors, whether they were good, bad, or ugly, had to struggle. And we've got to rediscover good from bad and recognize evil and tell it, get out of my way. Stop it. No. You got to call it out. Or we're going to lose everything. We will run and we will live. Aye, run and you might live. At least a while. But many years from now, lying in your beds, what would you give to come back here and face our enemies and tell them you can take our lives, but you'll never take our freedom? That's truly living. I forget who said it, but A man with courage only dies but once. Cowards die 1,000 deaths. Well, I know the quote I gave earlier was William Wallace, yeah. But the quote about, we can look up, I think it's so old they don't know who said it, but the brave die a single death. Cowards die 1,000 deaths. We can see who said that. I know you found the arena quote. I want to read that arena quote. Thank you, by Teddy Roosevelt. Thank you. I want to be in the arena. And I also don't want, as a person that wants good, to be manipulated. Because the evil is also good at getting good people to go out and do evil things under the cover of a good cause. You have to have the courage to really analyze things and have discernment and decide what you're going to get behind and what you're not. They found the quote. Here it is. A coward dies 1,000 times before his death, but the valiant taste of death but once. It seems